Hello everyone. Today I will be telling you guys a story about a boy and girl who get stranded on an island. Enjoy the story. The boy, Ethan, is 16 years old. He is in high school but also got his first job. He works at a supermarket. He chose that job because when he goes shopping with his mom he always sees hot girls there, and he decided to use the job to get girls. One day, his boss asked Ethan to train a new hire. Ethan wasn't too excited about this at first until he saw her. She was also 16 years old, but she was the prettiest girl he had ever seen in his life. He got an instant boner. Luckily for him, she didn't see because he wore a cup, which is a shield to hide and protect a male's genitals, especially when he gets excited. He knew to wear it just in case he saw a hot girl. The girl introduced herself. Her name is Emma. She said it was nice to meet him and asked Ethan what his name was. He blanked for a moment but immediately recovered and said his name is Ethan. Emma said that Ethan is a cool name and she hopes to become good friends with him. Ethan said the same thing to her and then she went in for a hug. Ethan didn't expect this and a big smile spread over his face. Ethan noticed that Emma smelled really good. Ethan asked her if she recently showered because she smelled good and Emma said yes. Ethan began to imagine certain things after that when he realized he was supposed to train her. It took him about an hour to train her and soon, they were working together on the job. They both were stocking shelves. One day, the boss called in all of the workers. He said that everyone was going on a business trip to Mexico. They were currently in New York. Emma told Ethan she is really excited because she has always wanted to go to Mexico. Then, the boss said to find someone to be a roommate with. Ethan and Emma were about to pair up when the boss said girls had to be with girls and boys had to be with boys. Emma and Ethan were sad about this but told each other they would still be near each other. Emma partnered with a 35-year girl and Ethan was approached by a 58-year-old man. Ethan wanted to say no to the old man but he didn't have the guts. A few days later, everyone got on the plane. Ethan and Emma sat next to each other. The plane ride was supposed to be 5 hours long. About 1 hour in, Emma fell asleep on Ethan's shoulder. Ethan knew that soon enough, she'd be his girlfriend, if she wasn't already. Another hour passed when things started to get rough. There was a meteor shower in the sky and a meteor hit the plane. Emma screamed awake and grabbed Ethan. Ethan was also scared but tried not to show it in front of Emma. The plane tore open and everyone got sucked out except for Ethan and Emma. This is because they were the only ones who were wearing their seat belts at that time. Ethan had to yell for Emma to hear him because the wind was super loud. He told her to just stay calm and don't let go of him. Emma nodded to show she understood. The plane was going down very fast. Soon, Ethan realized that they were headed for water and they would probably drown if they didn't get out. He told Emma to unbuckle and jump out so they didn't drown. Emma was a little hesitant at first but trusted Ethan. They unbuckled and jumped out of the plane, only seconds before it crashed into the water. To Emma and Ethan's shock, the plane exploded on impact. Ethan told Emma to not let go of him so they don't separate. He also enjoyed having her boobs rubbing up on him, but mostly because he was concerned for her safety. Emma told Ethan that she won't let go of him, and they should stick together no matter what happens. Ethan said yes and then they splashed into the ocean. They were a few hundred feet away from the plane. Ethan asked Emma if she could swim and she said she wasn't very good at it. Ethan told her to just hang on to him because Ethan could teach her the basics. They kept holding hands and didn't let go. After about an hour, Ethan had taught Emma the basics of swimming and she was okay at it. Ethan said that now all they should do is swim until they find land. They both swam for about a half hour, and they were really exhausted. They were about to call it a night because it was getting dark, and just float on their backs until morning. Ethan would have had to teach Emma how to float on her back. Just after Ethan had that thought, he spotted an island up ahead. He pointed it out to Emma and this was the first time she had smiled since she woke up from her nap on the plane. They both swam together until they reached the island. Then, they immediately collapsed with exhaustion and fell right to sleep. The next morning, around midday, they both woke up. Thankfully, they were still next to each other. Emma told Ethan how glad she was that they didn't run into a shark. Ethan agreed. Then, he realized that he had his phone in his pocket. He asked Emma if she had her phone too but she couldn't find it so it must have fallen out in the ocean or on the plane. Ethan tried calling 911 but there was no service where they were. They moved a little further into the island and then they had a signal. Ethan called 911 again and it worked. The lady said, "911, what's your emergency?" But before Ethan could speak, his phone died. Emma started crying and said she didn't want to be stranded on this island. Ethan got sad too, but then he reminded Emma that at least they have each other. This made Emma stop crying and then she kissed Ethan. Ethan wasn't wearing his cup that day so he had to try and hide his boner, but she saw anyway. She looked at it and smiled. Ethan got really embarrassed but Emma told him not to be because they were more than friends at this point. Then, Emma reminded Ethan how if he hadn't taught her how to swim, she would have drowned. Then, they started making out. It got even more intense after that, and the clothes started to come off. When they were done, the sun was starting to set. Ethan said that they needed to find food and water. Emma agreed, and she said she was really thirsty. They searched for hours but couldn't find anything. By this point, it was completely dark. They were both extremely thirsty. Emma suggested trying the ocean water but Ethan said that it was too salty and would just make them more thirsty. Just when they were about to call it a night, they both saw a helicopter flying above them. It landed on the island and a man came out and said, "Are you the people who called 911?" Ethan said yes. He then asked how they found them and the man said they tracked the call. Ethan and Emma got super happy because they finally got rescued. On top of that, the man said that since this was an undiscovered island and it was unknown before Ethan and Emma found it, finders keepers applies. Ethan and Emma were now the proud owners of their very own island. A few weeks went by and Ethan and Emma were dating. Every once in a while, they visited the island for a vacation. They eventually built a house on the island with all the money they made from their story about how they got stranded there for a couple days. They lived in New York most of the time but sometimes went to the island on their vacation house. As the years progressed, their bond only grew stronger. Ethan and Emma ended up getting married and having kids. The kids loved the island, and the story of how they met. The end.